Divinity is not Baldur's Gate 4. It's not a surprise that many people never heard of Larian Studios and their previous work until Baldur's Gate 3 came into the picture, which, don't get me wrong, there's no shame in that. But we know what Larian was like before Baldur's Gate 3 even came to the picture. And of course, with Divinity now being in the works and everything, and despite all the debacle that went down with the whole AI shenanigans, which let me just get this out of the way. It is 100% justified in many ways, shape, or form to the fact that AI has been a massive thorn in the ass as of recently due to its high demand of RAM usage fucking up the PC component industry, as well as ruining lives and jobs in certain ways because the companies feel like that's all they need in order to just replace a person, which allow me to get one thing clear. Personally, under any circumstances, should AI not replace a person. Period. You can quote me on that factor, no matter what my stance is on that subject. But the thing is, it is hard to deny that due to the steep cost of AI and everything about it, there have been general purposes that AI can be helpful when you look at it from a certain perspective. Due to my autistic nature for enjoying things for 10 hours straight, I have done that with AI before, and as a person with zero fucking talent, it has proved beneficial, and it's hard to ignore the fact that it does have some benefits if you use it correctly. Now, the negatives, on the other hand, do not make it look good, and it is completely justified. The one thing we do need to understand, though, that I think we can all sadly have to accept, is that this isn't something that's going to just disappear. This isn't a situation like NFTs that are going to fade out of obscurity. AI is definitely something that we're going to have to deal with and stick with, and the best we can do about it is trying to make it at least helpful rather than it being a problem. Dude, chill out. I could go on for a bit to try to be the middleman of this whole AI discussion thing, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge fan of the AI myself, but I can't deny that there are some benefits to said AI. And if that actually interests you on a video, let me know, see if you're curious or not. But I'm just gonna put this out on a whim. What the fuck is going on with these signs? It is nothing more than a fancy, fucked up looking paintbrush that has the ability to do shit on its own if you wanted to, but you need someone to steer the ship and you want it to do actual good things. Now with that out of the way, let me talk about what I actually want to talk about in the video. Now a main factor due to Baldur's Gate's popularity is that it relies on Dungeons & Dragons, specifically the 5th edition rule set, which is a very popular version. Can you hurry up, bro? My arm's getting tired. Nah, shit. The reason I say this is because Divinity is not going to rely on Dungeons & Dragons rule set like Baldur's Gate 3 has done in the past. And while we have no clear understanding of how the logic and the rule sets will work when it comes to Divinity, for all I know I could be wrong, to understand what it most likely will be, you need to understand Divinity rules, which is a whole different ballgame than you can ever imagine. And if you haven't played any of the Divinity games or anything that Larian Studios has made other than Baldur's Gate 3, you're missing out. That's all I'm saying. You can't teleport him off the cliff.
He was curious.
Oh, I wasn't trying to. I had a way funnier idea, to be honest.
Oh. It is personally a unique perspective and a different way to understand the whole Divinity logic of how Larian Studios wanted to make their own RPG. And if the rule set is going to be very similar to the newest edition of Divinity, it'd probably be best to understand how ways you could use it, understand it, and break it. Why the fuck do I have the camera pointing at this bear? And you're the one that clicked on this video, so get your popcorn, get your soda, get your candy that costs somehow $50 more than your actual movie ticket, because I'm about to introduce you to the entire logic of... God, it's weird seeing this again. And I'll never see it again. No, fair enough. Yeah, you played this way too much because it's all like PTSD to you. So let us first begin with the story. I don't know it. Yeah, the last time I played this game was back in 2017, and after playing it again, we still don't know the entire story, at least I don't, to explain it, so you're not exactly going to get a spoiler warning. But mainly the reason why is because my friend Gazma has no-lifed the shit out of this game like I did with Baldur's Gate 3, so we were kind of speedrunning a bit. But to basically summarize the story in the best way that I can that wouldn't be exactly spoilers, start off, you're one of the many people in this world that has access to a mythical source of energy known as Source, which is basically galaxy come blessed by the gods. So because of this, the Magisters, and mainly most of the people of the planet, are atheists and see you as the actual spawn of evil. Gee, what does that remind you of? So you're either hunted down, killed, captured, enslaved, or all the above, which is where you come in. Are you making Genghis Khan with purple hair?
Yeah. It's,
I thought about it.
You are captured by the Magisters and are forced to wear these collars that nullify your source abilities and are sent to Fort Joy, which is basically an island in the middle of the ocean as an imprisonment camp. Unfortunately, however, your ship gets attacked by creatures of the void.
You know what? That's exactly what I was expecting to happen.
And due to their superior numbers, your ship is basically broken in two and you wash up on the shore. It's gonna be really funny. Just every time the cutscene plays, you've seen it so many times that you just don't hesitate to hit the skip button.
I'm not here to watch reruns.
So once you wash up on the island, there's only two objectives that mainly matter to you. You get the fucking collar off your neck, and get the hell off the island. Every single nook and cranny has at least some way to level up, get XP, and find some way off of Fort Joy, which is the prison that you are stuck in. And once you get out, the world is your oyster. Once you thoroughly explore the island, you will eventually run into the god of your respective races who blesses you as their chosen, where you restore balance or some shit. I don't really care. We've been skipping through the rest of the entire story and I've been paying attention enough.
Yield to Relic, that he may be god of river. If you won't yield by your own will, you will. You failure.
Your turn.
You wicked.
So go play it if you want to figure it out yourself. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the meat and potatoes. So I won't bore you in on the details when it comes to character creation because it's pretty straightforward. What I will go over is what the difference is between Divinity and Baldur's Gate and Dungeons & Dragons, because there are a few things that are very similar to Dungeons & Dragons that definitely inspires. Attributes is your main stats, talents is your feats, etc. What is the major difference, however, are abilities. To explain it way better, let me paint you a picture. You decide one day to play Baldur's Gate 3 or any sort of Dungeons & Dragons campaign, and you want to get really into the whole roleplay of the whole entire game. You want to feel the character. You want to really commit to the bit. You decide to do only nothing but fire spells. Fire moves, fire spells, fire attacks, fire ding, fire bolt, fireball, fire. Burn the whole world and boil the ocean. So you decide to make your character an We have already hit a roadblock. Restricting ourselves with only fire spells already limits us to a certain amount of problems, such as the fact that there's not enough fire spells to equip, even with mods. Sure, you could just click on the spells, take them off your hotbar, and just not use them, but that's just a slot that's just completely wasted in your build. Heck, you could level up your entire character and not learn a single new spell because of how much fire spells there are in the game. So it kind of just ruins the vibe. In Divinity? Nah, you want fire spells? Level up pyrokinesis, get fire spells. Boom. Done. Want to be a pure fighter or barbarian? Level up warfare. Want to be a cleric? Warfare, hydro, necromancy. Boom. There you go. It's purely straightforward, and if you just want stronger spells of a specific type, you just level up that stat. That easy. I will go into more detail about each stats in just a moment, but let me go more into the more specific differences that Divinity has with its stats. In Dungeons & Dragons, you had strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. In Divinity, you get all of them except for wisdom and charisma, which were replaced with memory and wits. Memory affects how many spells/skills you can learn. If you want to be versatile, level up memory. Wits, while similar to charisma, has also a bonus of leveling up your crits. Your crit chance or your crit damage.
Yes.
Another major factor of this game is that the entire game does not revolve around the D20 rules. Instead, it's just flat percentages. Everyone has a 95% chance to hit no matter what skill or any ability you use. The only way to have a better chance to dodge it is by increasing your dodging percentage, which just adds on to that. Now, before I get into the skills and the elements, let me talk about the races, because this one is a lot different than Baldur's Gate 3. In Divinity, you could choose between the races of human, dwarf, elf, lizard, or undead versions of those races. And playing the undead version is definitely the more comical one for multiple reasons. 1, everyone fucking hates you. 2, healing spells damage you. I'm not kidding. This includes you and any other undead character that you face in the game. If you see an undead character, heal them. It's hilarious, and I always forget it every time. And like Baldur's Gate 3, there are origin characters that you could play as or have in your party if you're so interested, which,
I don't care. I don't care.
And last but certainly not least, if you have any intention to play this game solo, which you can, you need this trait. While Baldur's Gate 3 is more designed for a 4-player party, or more if you're using mods, it doesn't really encourage you to play the game just one character to. In Divinity, you can play with a single character if you wanted to. Just solo the entire game if you want. All you need is this trait because it is mandatory. Whether you're playing with yourself or a +1, you need this trait. It is the only way you can actually balance the game. Now let's go into more details about the abilities so that way you know what you want to make your build about. Quick note that there is no wrong answer to these kinds of combinations. You want to combine them in any different way, you can. It's just some are definitely more paired with others, but you could just do whatever the fuck you want. Do you not like magic? Do you just want to beat the shit out of your enemy with anything you can grab? Whether that be a fucking broom or a giant axe? Do you want more damage? More damage, you say? More damage. In a game where statuses and elements matter a lot, you think warfare just on its own is not really that helpful. Nah, instead of making them suffer, why don't you just put them out of their misery? Because fun fact, killing your enemy mitigates future damage, and prevents you from being in a position where you will lose your turn and possibly die. But Mr. Oreo, that's not my name! Doesn't that mean I get to miss out on all the statuses that I could use that benefit in the game? Two words. Knock. A few of the warfare abilities apply knockdown, which unlike Baldur's Gate 3 and Dungeons & Dragons, when you are knocked down, you just lose some movement. In Divinity, you lose your entire turn. This is made especially easier considering the fact that all warfare skills basically attack physical armor. You can see where I'm going with this. You get skills such as be enraged, where your next physical attack has a guaranteed crit, become a battering ram, destroy terrain and knock down opponents in front of you, turn into Captain America if you're using a shield. Do whatever the hell you want, it's that simple. Also, if you want more simplicity, just boosting warfare ups your physical damage. Doesn't matter if you're a rogue or an archer, if you are doing anything that is related to physical damage with a weapon, you level up warfare just to do more damage. It's that fucking simple.
No.
Are you a little bitch? Let me rephrase that. Are you a person who doesn't want to deal with bullshit right in front of you? Do you want to be the person who is guaranteed the last one to stay alive half the time? Are you resourceful and a scumbag loot goblin?
And now I see what's inside, and now I'm fucking the best.
You want to be a knockoff version of Legolas from Lord of the Rings with the cost of being a cannibal? Now let me introduce you to the Huntsman classes, and because of one major factor that makes it stand out above the rest. Elemental status arrows. In Baldur's Gate 3, you have some arrows like fire arrows, split-off arrows, electric arrows. In Divinity, there is an arrow for pretty much every status and every element, basically making you a jack of all trades. That combined with the benefits of high ground, you can make yourself a deadly sniper. Whether you're using a bow or a crossbow, it don't matter. And you can pair this with any of the other elemental abilities and it wouldn't stick out like a sore thumb. Personally, I recommend you put at least 1 point or 2 into Huntsman for First Aid and Tactical Retreat. The reason why is because First Aid is a very good healing spell, and Tactical Retreat basically gives you haste every time you use it.
I've got the black root that do it, but oh my god.
Alright, that sucks. Anyway.
Yeah, it really sucks.
You know, with the guy who has teleportation, I should have expected that. Wow, that sounds amazing. There must be a catch. Yeah, it turns the game into an easy bake oven. If you don't have an archer on your team and you're going up against archers, you'll understand clearly.
Hey, be careful, man. I hear Moon Knight attacks with all sorts of random bullshit.
Please, I've got him dead to rights. Now to
Random bullshit, go!
Rogues, emo fans, it's your time to shine. And let me tell you, you fucking shine in this game. However, it comes at a major cost, because if you are playing any form of a rogue, you have to do it in a specific way. And by specific, I mean you need daggers. Reason why I say this is because many of the scoundrel abilities require daggers. To explain that, we need to explain how crits work in this game. And I'm not talking about crit chances, because scoundrels have guaranteed crits. Put it simply, if you are using a dagger, you have the ability to backstab someone. You cannot do this with any other weapon. Backstabbing a character results in a guaranteed critical every time. And all you have to do is just get right behind the fucker. Whether it's just walking right behind them or using the ability to blink right behind them, every attack or ability you do with a dagger that is in a certain cone of vision, literally right behind him, smelling his armpits, you can backstab him. And if you pair Scoundrel with Warfare, you can do those backstabs to do even more damage. So the question isn't, am I going to be able to do crits well enough? It's more of, those crits need to be giga buffed.
I do a scientific research on if my boot can fit up farther your ass.
However, you aren't exactly as versatile as other kinds of builds can be. You're kind of a one-trick pony. You could deviate to do other spells and skills for resourcefulness, but any skill you do outside of your damage output or your crit chance is wasted potential. But other than being the glass cannon, if you rather just like to see the big number go up and just delete fuckers in the blink of an eye, then there you go. I also recommend that you dual wield daggers, because upgrading your dual wielding also increases your dodge chance, so that way you don't die every fucking turn, which you most likely will.
Water.
Hey, can you throw me another percent?
Now we get to finally talk about the elemental abilities. And in the order fashion of Avatar, we'll start with water. I'm pretty sure water is already self-explanatory enough as it is. Freezing magic, healing magic. As I said with Huntsman, it is recommended you probably get at least 1 or 2 points in Hydro just to get regeneration. Having just a couple healing spells on you at all times when needed is really important. You'd be surprised. Aside from healing spells, it's also self-explanatory. Create ice floors to make sure people that walk through it can fall down and lose their turn by slipping, or freeze them solid, which also makes them lose their turn. Right, even though you were brainwashed.
Charm is really good in this, holy shit.
No, Charm has been really good. I used it when we played our campaign, and it was really good.
Got bro. Zenhole.
Water magic also favors magic armor when it comes to damage and restoring magic armor as well. If you're the mage of the group and have a lot of magic armor, having water spells definitely helps.
Earth.
As I said that water magic basically favors people that use magic armor a lot, Geomancer does the same but for physical armor. You're able to fortify yourself with the earth itself to give yourself more physical armor, be able to throw oil and rocks to people to make them slow. Yeah, slap that
Just
ass.
gonna get. Oh my. Not one for each cheek, no!
Use the power of plants like some sort of Timu version of Poison Ivy. If you want to be like some form of a battle mage, or basically the team's tank, combining Warfare and Geomancer is a very good combination.
Fire.
Pyrokinesis, or fire magic, is pretty self-explanatory along with a few exceptions. One of them being that this is how you get haste, and I don't think I need to explain haste to people who played Baldurs Gate 3 or Dungeons & Dragons. Another is that unlike water magic, where it has abilities to help you restore magic armor, Pyrokinesis mainly has spells that just say what magic armor. Scorching Beam, Searing Daggers, etc. I don't think I need to go into any more detail, just burn everything to asunder. Just like Warfare, Huntsman, and Scoundrel that mainly focus on physical armor, Pyrokinesis will mainly focus on magic armor. So pair that with more magic armor attacks, and you're good.
I'll show you lightning.
Okay, they call it air, but it's lightning, okay? Like, just shut up. Lightning magic is also self-explanatory, along with a few exceptions like before. One of them being that this is a very good option if you are playing Scoundrel and want to have some unique spells. Reason why I say this is because it has the unique spell of Uncanny Dodge. basically improving your dodge capabilities to the max. Now I say this even though Uncanny Dodge can work for any fucking person or any fucking build, but it would definitely be a good combo if you are a scoundrel and you want to have some spells, just pair with lightning attacks. And like water magic, you can have the ability to skip someone's turn by stunning them. And it is really weird to trigger. All I could say is that there's a huge difference between being shocked and being stunned.
Rattle me bones, take what he will, but don't rattle me bones! Spin the wheel for the treasure to take.
I will not fucking sugarcoat it. Necromancer is the Skyrim stealth archer build of Divinity. No matter how much I want to deviate towards a different build, no matter how much you want to do anything different, Necromancy always comes back to haunt. Why is this? Because Necromancy is fucking goated. Aside from a few pretty good skills such as raising a giant spider made out of bones, Bone Cage, which allows you to get physical armor depending on how many corpses there are around the area, there are a couple of spells that are really ridiculous. Allow me to explain why. There's a status called Decaying. When you're decaying, you cannot heal. Period. No magic potions, no healing spells, all of that will be directly damage instead of healing you. Then enter stage right, Mosquito Swarm, the basic necromancy skill. This ability does damage to the opponent, causes bleeding if they have no physical armor, and will partially heal you based on the damage you did. So does that mean you take damage from this spell if you did it on Wild Decay? This shit bypasses decaying and is the only spell that does it. So if you're in a bad position and you're decaying, Mosquito Swarm is at least one way to get a little bit of your health back. If this move is giga buffed by your stats, oh boy. Okay, that's a little funny, but I mean, I don't know. Okay, how about the fact that Necromancy just gives you lifesteal? Yeah, leveling up Necromancy as a whole just gives you basic lifesteal on any damage you do. Doesn't matter what kind or anything. Along with another funny spell called Shackles of Pain, where basically you link to an opponent and any damage that is done to you is done to them. Other than breaking the AI and basically making it so it's rare that they actually attack you, it can lead to some really funny situations.
You're both chained to each other.
Perfect.
So theoretically, if
That's
I
hot.
hit both of you, you would
Oh,
both
it's
take
heavy
twice as
armor.
much damage. Oh my god. Did you miss on yourself?
Yes! I saw 2 misses!
Ow! How are you healing more from this?
I don't know!
Because you're damaging yourself and healing more!
Perfect.
I need so much.
I don't know where to find them. Make stuff for make stuff for him. I actually just found some.
Oh my god, there's so many numbers!
Hey, what's the worst that could happen? Nepotism, that's what.
Are you a lazy piece of shit? Are you an avid fan of spending 70 hours of your life ingesting crack? Are you a person who plays the Summoner class in Final Fantasy XIV? Is the footage you're seeing right now turn you on? Then oh boy, you're gonna enjoy the Summoner spells. Basically, the Summoner spells revolve around one thing. Summoning shit. You could turn the game into basically a balloon's tower defense by summoning totems around to shoot down enemies every time they have their turn. You could summon a little gremlin to fight for you too as well. Along with a few exceptions such as mind control, putting up a teleportation door. But other than those exceptions, most of the spells are just buffing your summon. Now I hear you asking, that sounds kind of pointless. Summoning is surprisingly goated, and I keep forgetting how goated it is. The reason why is for a few factors. 1, you can change the element of your totem or your little gremlin depending on the surface you summon it on. If you summon it on a pool of blood, it gets a blood infusion. If you summon it on a pool of fire, it gets a fire infusion. Your totems will shoot the corresponding element, and your gremlin will attack with that element with a potential ability bonus to have, like fireball or throw a rock, for example. Okay, so what's the catch? Commitment. To put it bluntly, it doesn't matter what the hell you're summoning. Whether it's your little gremlin or a woodland totem, the necromancy spell summons such as the Bone Widow and the Bone Totems, or even just a blob of flesh, fire, or oil, it don't matter. Their entire strength and power level is solely determined on your summoning ability. So if you want to rely on summons, you have to max it out. But I promise you, it will be worth it in the end. Plus, at max summoning level, your little gremlin turns to a giga gremlin. And if you're the kind of person who wants to get in the fight with your summons, you can boost up your warfare and get thick at the fight, basically adding a 10% boost to any ally near you. Combine this with the amount of totems you can summon and your gremlin, and just like that, you got a Wish.com version of solo leveling.
Chicken attack! Chicken attack!
And last, but certainly not least, Divinity's version of the Druids, or to be more accurate, the furry skills. Do you want to sprout tentacles and stop the enemy from using their weapons? Want to grow some bull horns and charge right into battle? Do you want to sprout some wings and have the ability to fly? Do you want to turn someone into a chicken?
What?
I don't know what I expected.
It's so Joker. It's never been more Joker.
Not my galaxy come. Not the chicken. Don't curse the chicken.
Holy shit.
Everything is gone. Because you can't see the attack of opportunity circle. It doesn't show.
Oh my god.
It doesn't show the attack of opportunity. It doesn't.
I know.
And when it does, it's so hard to see it.
I like how something worse has now just happened.
You horny?
And all it took was me turning into a fucking cock.
Your fucking Tyson frozen ass is actually blocking me from climbing the ladder back up.
Other than that being self-explanatory, it does have two things that baffle me still to this day. One, it has an ability that just resets all your cooldowns if you wanted to, so that's cool. And the other is that leveling up your polymorph increases the attribute points you gain. Meaning if you want more attribute points, you level up polymorph.
Whoopsie. Now behold.
Now before I need to get to what to expect in this game and what you should at least be doing, there are a couple details that I kind of put on the back burner that I need to address. First off, armor. In Dungeons & Dragons, you had armor class. Basically, whether it's your stats or your armor, regardless, it's basically a flat number that is your armor class. Basically, whenever they roll a dice, they have to roll a number higher than that number to hit the target. In Divinity, there is nothing like that. It's just flat armor that just protects you. Basically, how it is that there's physical armor and magic armor. While it's self-explanatory that physical armor protects you from physical attacks, while magic armor protects you from magic attacks, the one thing that makes it more important than anything else is the fact that it keeps you from suffering through statuses. And there are a lot of different statuses. So many statuses that half the time you'll suffer through so many elements that it will overtake the entire turn order of a fight. But when it comes to those negative effects, such as bleeding for example, the only reason you're not getting that status is because of that armor. If you have no armor, you are susceptible to those statuses. And those statuses are also affected to you dependent on the terrain that you're standing on, which, let me talk about that real quick. One of the big major things that Divinity sets itself apart from Dungeons & Dragons and Baldur's Gate 3 is the terrains. There are a lot of different terrains. Mainly you got ones like ice, fire, water, blood, oil, which doesn't sound like a whole lot at first, but those terrains can be changed depending on two specific spells. And those two spells are Curse and Bless. Because of these two spells, the amount of terrains that can be on the battlefield are tripled. And when these spells are applied to any form of these terrains, they change, as well as the effects that they give. With Blessed terrain being more of a positive effect, while Curse being a more dangerously negative effect. For example, if you apply Curse to ice, it is Cursed Ice, which can freeze you solid instead of make you slip. If you bless a Smoke Cloud, it is a Blessed Smoke Cloud, which applies invisibility. There are so many different combinations of terrain that you may not see all of them in a single playthrough unless you actually try. You are one of the few people who have access to the spell of Bless by interacting with some of the statues around the island of Fort Joy and interacting with the god of your respective race. And everyone and their mother has Curse, so you will see the cursed terrains more often than you think. Another skill that I need to address clearly is Source Vampirism. To put it simply, many spells along with Bless require Source. And while you start the game with only one slot, there are ways to expand how much Source you can carry to a maximum of 3. And there's not always going to be conveniently placed tanker full of Source to just keep refueling yourself on, especially when you need it on the fly. That's where Source Vampirism comes in. Once you reach the first locale outside of Fort Joy, you'll be given a quest to obtain the skill. What this skill does is allow you to suck the source out of a person. It doesn't matter if they're living or a cold corpse, you can basically just suck the source out of them like you're eating a corpse, rendering them into a pile of mush. Because, you know, we're the good guys. So around the mid to late game scenario, you will fall into a continuous loop that you will consume every single soul, living or dead person that isn't a pile of mush at the end of every fight. Yeah, I'm starting to think this is the reason why they hate us. Note that your enemies can also do this too, and they will spam the shit out of it. So if you have source on hand, use it. I'm not kidding when I say that you will need every advantage you could get your hands on, especially if you're playing this game on harder difficulties, or even worse, honor mode. If you thought Baldur's Gate 3 honor mode was bullshit, oh boy, Divinity is a whole different story. I felt a little bad dragging Gazma back into this game after he's done multiple honor run attempts with another friend of ours, and it almost broke him. Throughout our journey, he told me of the attempts he had in honor run mode and how some of them ended within a single turn in the blink of an eye with no chance to do anything about it. I think there's no better way to describe how bullshit it could be than describing their last honor run attempt, where they actually made it to the final boss only to be stunned in one turn, frozen in the next, and then killed in the third. Within the blink of an eye, it was all over and they couldn't even lift a finger. Now you're probably thinking, that's probably fair considering I could do the same to them if I could. Yes, you could, but remember, you need to have armor in order to block those statuses, and they have a lot more armor than you do. More than you ever will, no matter how many buffs you have. Despite all that, Gazma was able to have at least some fun with a particular build he had in the back of his head for a while. So let's talk about that. So now I get to tell you about the adventures of Genghis Khan and the Watcher. While it did take a while for me to make up my mind on what my build was going to be, at the end of the day I ended up with a dual-wielding sword cleric. While I dabbled a couple points into mostly every single category to basically have the necessities that they have for support stuff, I mainly favored summoning, necromancer, and Hydrophist to basically turn myself into a summoning cleric. I was fighting up close, making myself more of a tank person, had healing spells, had summons to even the fights, so that way it's not just the two of us all the time. Pretty spread out and all around. Well, Gazma, he had a specific idea in mind.
Alright, there we go.
Oh, I forgot you could craft skills. Oh, explosion!
And thus, the first part of the build is ready.
Oh my god. Put it simply, all skills have a specific requirement to use of how many points you have into this corresponding ability. Some require points in two separate abilities. For example, putting 1 point in Necromancy or 1 point in Hydro will allow you to instead rain water to rain Kool-Aid.
Oh, you're not fucking serious.
Oh no, someone didn't use their fucking tampon.
Sorry. It's that time of the month, man. You know,
I can tell.
Where you gotta pop.
I mean, they'll just teleport over it if you gotta freeze it.
No, I'm not gonna freeze it.
This is what virgin girls imagine popping their cherry is like.
I'm on my period. And one of these kinds of skills is Corpse Explosion. Gazma's build solely revolved around this skill. How it worked was basically there's a trait that allows your spells to crit. Combine that with high crit chance and high intelligence for high damage, you can basically see where this is going. And while there's a lot of opportunities where people are going to be standing around a pile of corpses, not every fight is going to have them right next to one. And unlike Baldur's Gate 3, you can't actually move or carry corpses. That's where Teleport comes in. Teleport is a spell that requires air magic for some fucking reason, and it will allow you to teleport anything and anyone to anywhere nearby. This includes dropping people or inanimate objects on top of people to do damage. So every time he's in the middle of a fight, he could teleport one person on top of another to do damage on both of them, and if one of them unfortunately dies due to the impact, well...
Oh!
Your blows mean nothing to you, as you have...
Eat a dick!
Oh.
Eat a fatter dick! Holy shit!
Yeah. And as I said before, you could do this to any object. This includes dead bodies. So basically a good portion of the time, he would just teleport corpses right next to him, and they would not bat an eyelid so long as they don't land on him, basically turning the entire area into a minefield. Though it can be a bit finicky.
Eat a dick.
Miss.
Reload. Crash the game. Okay.
This can be extended even to absurd levels with Mass Corpse Explosion, an upgraded version of Corpse Explosion that blows up every corpse nearby. That only requires one source point, by the way, which can lead to shit like this. It's fine, I'm just gonna be right here. Just watching.
Anything you need to get off your chest?
Eat a bag of chips watching this.
I don't think I need that many.
No. No, it'd be funny if you did as many as you can. If you're gonna do this...
Michael, that is...
If you're
too
going to...
many fucking teleports for me that want
If you're going to do this, commit.
Your impersonance runs
Why are you so right?
Look, I wish I had teleport too so I can help you out with this, but...
I mean, honestly... I don't know. I think 9's pretty good.
Nope. Round it up to 10.
You are such a bitch.
You may yet.
This asshole.
You signed up for this. And scene. And I'm not kidding when I said that he boosted his critical chance to the maximum that is possible. I think the highest he got at this point was around 70%, meaning he was critting more often than he was getting regular hits.
Yeah, which is also fair.
I saw the crit through the wall, just in the corner of my eye.
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Now, before I put a bow on this entire fucking video, there's one more thing I want to mention. The Lady Vengeance. The Lady Vengeance is a ship that's basically the hub world of Divinity, where you get to respec, you get to meet some reliable traders, etc. That's not exactly what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the pyramids. When you first get on the Lady Vengeance and explore the ship thoroughly, you will come across a small secret chamber that has a couple of enemies. Defeating them will allow you to explore the room and gain 2 pyramids. These 2 pyramids are teleporter pyramids. Basically, if one person is carrying a pyramid and one person is carrying the other one, they can teleport to each other's location anywhere on the map. You'll start with 2, which is very helpful if you're only playing the game with a +1. But if you're playing with the full party, there's 2 more pyramids somewhere in the first locale outside of Fort Joy. These pyramids are very helpful if you're trying to do some Scooby-Doo shit and you need to get to your partner real fast. Or in our case, your dickhead of a friend decides to over-encumber your entire pack with 300-pound paintings, preventing you from moving.
So he just turns into fucking 1 second.
He's like fucking Slenderman. He's constantly teleporting towards you and you look back at him.
Like SCP-173.
You did this to us all. I want you to know that. You are the cause of your own demise. Thank you. Now, the pyramid is mainly used to help exploring rather than in combat. Not saying you can't use it in combat, you can, it just takes up your whole entire turn. Though it's not foolproof.
Yeah.
I can't yell. Oh, what do you mean that it counted as an attack of opportunity? Fuck that! I What do you mean that counted as attack of opportunity?
You fucking...
I used a pyramid.
Oh, funny's out of the question, huh?
What the fuck?
Fucking jackass.
What do you mean
the
attack
hell,
of opportunity goes through that? That's bullshit. Now, while are there some potential minor, if not any, spoilers in this entire video, not only is the game like roughly 10 years old, but also my shitty explanation to the entire story doesn't give it justice on what the actual story is. There's still a lot that I didn't mention, not only because I didn't want to spoil it, but also because I probably didn't give a shit. But even if I was gonna try to spoil it, I think our gameplay made it very difficult to do it in the first place. Maggot. Are you having fun with that?
What? Extremely.
Despite all that, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. You excited for Divinity as much as I am, even though we're not going to see it for the next 3 years or so. But remember, if Fearon existed in this universe, there'd be more cannibalism than Jeffrey Epstein could have done in his lifetime.
That's not my next.